mute microphone that is moving.
Huh. They just started recording.
Just hold the button down.
Oh, there we go.
I'm going to mute myself.
All right, everybody, we're going to start. I'm not on mute.
Where's your speaker?
Oh, there you go. Thank you. As usual, Jim came to save the day. Good morning, everybody, on this nice rainy Saturday morning. I'm Gianna Goldman. I'm a co-secretary for the Benzie Dems, and I'm delighted to see so many faces in the audience and on screen. We have more than 50 people here today joining us for our meeting, so bravo to you all. And just a reminder, because it's raining, if you haven't bought your Benzie Dems umbrella, we have them on sale. And without further ado, I think we want to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, someday. All right, nicely done. And I am now going to turn this over to Jim. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jana. Thank you, everybody. And it's great to see everybody here, and it's great to see all the people back home. Thanks for coming out in this wintry May morning. My gosh. It may be summer. It may be, yeah, really, that's true. That's true. Great. Okay. Well, we've got quite a full agenda, so we're going to keep it snappy today. And we have a really fine guest in Chloe Maxmin coming in, and we also have a drop-in appearance from Dr. Bob, who's going to talk about his renewed campaign. We've got a lot of stuff going on with the party here in Benzie, really a lot of it. I'm going to run through some new stuff right now that is coming up on the horizon, and then we'll hear from some of you all here out in the audience or back home on Zoom about some of our other projects that we're doing. First of all, I want to tell everybody we've just upgraded the website in quite a nice way. I want to thank Greta Bolger for doing this. She's really worked hard on the website over the last months, and it just constantly gets a little better. And we now have a really neat slideshow right at the top of the site that you should go and see, BenzieDemocrats.com. Please go see it. Don't be shy about showing it to your friends. Got all kinds of information there in the site, including YouTubes of our most recent meetings. If you missed a meeting, you missed Dana talking to us last month, you can catch it on our YouTube video channel, and you can get to that through our website. Okay, great. One of the things we're getting ready to do, I just want you to be aware of it, it's called Welcome Wagon. One of our members very kindly used her real estate knowledge to get us a list of recent people who've moved recently into our county, and we're getting ready to send them a welcome wagon packet, which will have top 10 reasons to get to know the Benzie Dems. It'll have some pictures of our events. It'll have just some other nice stuff for them to look at, and a handwritten letter from one of us to them saying, please come and check us out if you can, okay? So that's our Welcome Wagon project. That's going to be starting soon, and it's to try to recruit new arrivals into the county who say, where are all my Democratic friends? Okay, we also sent some letters out to a number of nonprofits here in the county telling them we have this nice facility, and if they need to sometime do a Zoom meeting from here or have some sort of a meeting where there's facilities for meeting, tables and chairs and lights and internet and computer and all that, please get a hold of us. We'd love to have you use our spot. We're not charging for this. It's just something we want to do to help some of the nonprofits that sometimes have a hard time finding a good place to meet or even just keeping on. Okay. In about 2 weeks, we're going to start ads in the Current, Betsy Current, and in the Benzie Record Patriot, little ads about our democratic values. I won't tell you what they say or anything because I don't want to give it away too early, but there will be one in every issue between now and the end of the year to get our values messages out, to let people know what we stand for, and even better than that, what we're getting done. We're getting a lot done in Washington. We're getting a lot done in Lansing. We want people to understand that when they vote for us, things happen if we get the majority. So that will be out there. Yes. Okay, take a look around this room if you're here in the room at what a really nice space we have, how well organized it is, and how well it's running. A lot of that has to do with what Chris Kitzman did when she wasn't busy being data queen the last 2 years. And she's really whipped the place into shape with a bunch of people that have helped her out. It's not just Chris, but Chris made it happen. And we need a office management team. I don't want to keep asking Chris to keep doing this along with all the other stuff she's doing. So we've got it broken down into some different tasks. And if you're on Zoom and you're interested in doing this, please indicate that in chat. And if you're here in the room, please talk to us after the meeting. It's not a big job if you break it up. Many hands make the load light. And if we had 2 or 3 people handling different parts of managing this wonderful office, that's such a great resource for us, it would be a pretty job for everybody. It really would. Pretty easy job for everybody. Great. And the other thing is, get out your calendars and put this date down, September 30th. That is our Mills Center Soul Party. We're going to have a big fun night on Saturday night, September 30th at the Mills Community House. And we're going to have soulful hors d'oeuvres, finger foods basically, because we won't have tables to sit at. We won't have tables to sit up because it's going to be set up for watching a movie. So we're going to come and have our soulful appetizers, and then we're going to watch the movie Summer of Soul. Who's seen Summer of Soul? Yeah, it's a great movie. It's very inspiring, and it's often referred to by people who know as the real Black Woodstock, not the Woodstock that happened in upstate New York. Happened the same summer, actually. Nobody's ever heard of it, but it was 5 or 6 concerts over the summer in Harlem, and they videoed all of them, and they're great, and we'll watch that together. And then I know after you see all that, you're going to want to move. So we're putting together a soul serenade mixtape that's going to get you out on that big, beautiful floor at the Mills and dancing. And it'll all be done way before your 10 o'clock bedtime, we promise. Okay? Well, we're pushing it. It's Saturday night. But this is a fundraiser. We're trying to make thousands of dollars from this. So we want you to come to it. We're not going to charge a set admission. We want you to come, and we want you to make a donation and come in and enjoy the hors d'oeuvres. We'll have some drinks for you. We'll be sharing some beer and wine, not a cash bar. And have a wonderful, wonderful night with you and your friends, and a great movie and dancing and good food. And what else we got? That's enough. Okay, September 30th. All right. Right, it's tentatively entitled the Mills Center Soul Party. Okay. Yeah, great. So now we're going to get into some other announcements. Judy, if you'd come over here and have a seat so the folks back home can see you. And then you can talk into that. Close to them all.
All right. Hi, everyone. You guys blew our socks off with the results of fundraising for the scholarship. We were able to give out $4,000 scholarships. They haven't been announced yet, so I can't do that today. Kira and Mike and several other people were instrumental with the scholarship vetting with the schools, and then Jana and Paul took the donations at the door, which was above and beyond the $35 for the dinner. We served about 85 meals. We got total $4,170 from that one event, which is amazing. We sold 3 umbrellas. Thank you, Jana. And we still had $1,164 left over from last year. So we're sitting really pretty for next year. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Judy, for all your hard work on that. Okay, next up here, we're making plans for the parade, and I haven't been able to look at the screen closely, but I'm hoping Jane Wild is here and can give us the skinny on that. Jane, you'll have to unmute, and please let us know what's going on. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Yes, 4th of July, mark your calendars. It's going to be really fun. We've got the morning parade through Frankfurt and the afternoon parade in Beulah. We're asking everyone to show up wearing blue. I mean, you can wear red, white, and blue, but emphasis on blue. And be prepared to just have a lot of fun. We're going to, we'll have, thanks to the Rev Steve, will be pulling his truck, we'll be pulling a trailer that we're still looking to find, if anybody knows someone that has a trailer. So there's going to be plenty of room for sitting for people who are not able to walk, but otherwise, if you're able to walk, let's march, and it's going to be a blast. And we want people of all ages. If you've got friends, family coming, children, let's show this is us, right? We got to represent who we are as Democrats and as Americans and as Benzie County-ites, whatever it said. But it's going to be a blast, and stay tuned for more shout outs about that. But please plan to come and bring all your family and friends. It's going to be a blast.
Thank you, Jane. And we just wanted to, can you all see the t-shirts? Are they up there now? No? Okay. Okay. Those are that's the t-shirt, the front and the back of the t-shirt. Okay. Huh? Can you see it? Yeah? Oh, okay, great. So there it is.
Any typos?
Yeah, we are going to sell these t-shirts at cost to anybody who walks in the parade, which is around $12. Everybody else, you're going to pay $25 for it and love it. But $12 or $12.50, whatever it is, we want people to wear these at the parade. So we're going to figure out how to get them to you ahead of the parade, and we really do want everybody to come to this. Please come, even if you're not mobile. We'll get you up in the trailer and you'll be fine. Okay, it'll be a hayride for you. Okay, so that's that. And Jane, thank you for all of your work on the parade last year. And I just want to say, Jane is working hard with the queen of the parade. Jane is part of Queen Susan's court, actually.
Lady in waiting.
Lady in waiting. Thank you. And you'll be hearing from Jane and or from Susan, who will be out recruiting you for the parade and helping to get the whole thing organized. So it's great. All you got to do is show up, like Jane said. All you got to do is show up with your blue shirt and your blue stuff, and we got stuff for you to shake, rattle, and roll. It'll be a lot of fun. Okay, Mike, if you want to come up. Next, I'd like to introduce my good friend Mike Lynn. And Mike is a union guy, and he's got a union picnic to tell us about.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, before moving to Benzie County, I lived up in Petoskey and was involved with the Emmett County Dems. In 2015, we had our first union appreciation picnic, and we have had it every year since, except that one year during the pandemic. So we're looking forward. I wanted to stop by today and invite everybody here. Those of you who didn't see the flyer, through email or whatever, I'm sure there's somebody here that can get it to you. And so it's always been a fun event. We usually have some candidates from the Northern Michigan area or like the 1st Congressional District come and show up. And so it's going to be fun. I got my big grill. We'll be doing, pulled pork, regular picnic food, beans, pulled pork, chicken, that kind of stuff. So it's always been a fun event, and we're looking forward to getting Benzie County to start getting involved. If you look at the bottom of that flyer, you'll see all the counties and the different unions who are signed on as sponsors. And personally, I'm a retired member of United Food and Commercial Workers, Local 951, who's been one of the key sponsors since the beginning. So thank you, everyone. Yes, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. I'm heading over to spend the night with my dad over by Torch Lake and then driving up to Petoskey from there. So it's at the Emmett County Fairgrounds.
What time?
Noon till 2.
Great. Thanks, Mike. And all of you here and at home, we did send out the poster on this. It's on the email before the last one. It's the email that went out last Tuesday. It's got all the information on it. So if you're thinking about going, it's got the address and all that stuff. And if you want more information here today, I can get that for you after the meeting. All right? Okay, next up is Susan Wenslick, Benzie County Democrat and member who's got some pretty cool stuff she's working on.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody, for having me today. So if you are not in Petoskey tomorrow, I have another event that you can attend tomorrow. I am here to talk about our LGBTQ kids. My daughter, the love of my life, is transgender. And I've had people, when I start talking about her, people will say, oh, she's so lucky to have a mom like you who loves her unconditionally. And bless their hearts, I know they mean well, but what that makes me think is that because a label has been put on her, that she is less worthy of being loved. And that's the impression that people, it's like, why wouldn't you love your child unconditionally? And this label does not change in any meaningful way who she is. And you know what happens when that label comes out on other kids? 82% of LGBTQ kids are bullied at school. 82%. You know, if that was football players, this would be a national crisis. Or people named Jim, it would be a national crisis. LGBTQ kids are much more likely than other kids to have suicidal thoughts. And yet when I contacted schools about how we could support LGBTQ kids, I got crickets. I got nothing. So, parents still freak out when their LGBTQ kids come out. There are kids in this county who are couch surfing, who are living in their cars. My daughter knows them. And it's no wonder that kids think about suicide when they're not safe in their own homes. They're not safe in school. They are being told by the media and by politicians that they are not as good as everyone else and that they don't deserve rights that everybody else has, that they can't even go and use the bathroom or play on sports teams. They don't deserve health care. So really briefly, back to, my daughter being lucky to have me as a mom, I think the reverse is true. She is the bravest person I know. Can you imagine making that kind of change and putting yourself out there at a time like this? Yeah, I mean, it's nuts. And hearing every day that she is not good enough to be treated equally to everybody else. I'm lucky to be her mom. She is a wonderful, smart, beautiful person and brave. So St. Philip's Episcopal Church, where I'm a member, is having a meeting tomorrow. This is going to be an official mission of the church. So I have their 501c3 status. Yay. And we're having a meeting tomorrow at 3:00 at the church for people who are interested in being advocates. If you are a person who, I was just talking with Deanne about this. If you only have one day a year and you can do something to advocate, still be part of this group. We're not going to do a bunch of meetings. But tomorrow's thing is a conversation. We're just going to have a conversation about how people can help protect LGBTQ kids and support their families. Because it does kind of freak you out when your kid says, Mom, I really want to be a girl. So we want to do what we can to support kids and support families in the county. We're having a conversation tomorrow about what that would look like. Please come if you're available at 3:00. There will be cookies, but you should come for the other stuff. Kids need to know that they are treasured and they are safe. And Ryder, my daughter and I were talking about this last night, and yes, we have Lansing support now, but they're still getting an awful lot of messages that say, you're not worthy. So we're going to talk about what it looks like and how we can support people. And if you can't come to the meeting tomorrow because you're in Petoskey having a picnic, I'll put you on my mailing list. Just let me know. Jim knows how to reach me. You can get through to me through St. Philip's. And I have a email, Benzie LGBTQ@gmail.com. So you can email me that way. Thanks.
Can I have that one more time? I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, awesome. Benzie LGBTQ@gmail. Thank you.
Karen, we actually have some time. Could you give us 3 minutes on some things you're working on with the county commission? Sure. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Close.
No, not to
Oh, okay. We're a friendly group. Okay. I just listened to you, whatever. Tuesday, we have our Board of Commissioner meeting, our regular one. It starts at 9. Again, we will be discussing focus points for the rest of 23 and into 24. I wrote an email to the administrator and also the Board of Commissioner Chair, who is Bob Roloffs, and said, we had 5 pages of strategies and focus points. I said, too much. I drilled down on it. We need to focus on things that we learned from the survey that the individuals in our county want. So I said, we need to address, with no egos in, ruling this, task directed to get it done. The Headley Amendment, I am suggesting, since that has been not addressed, it's been avoided since 2017, and it's got to be addressed. So I said, whoever the best commissioners are, best suited to get that task, that information and education out to the public, we need to do that. So that was point 1. Point 2 was this ubiquitous, affordable, whatever they're calling, for the internet. We need to get a project manager, a task, 18 months saying what we're going to get done and get it accomplished. So that's a second thing, and I'm on the agenda. And the third thing is childcare. That has not been addressed at all. So I had some ideas that I would like to propose, but the strategy is on, or the agenda is online. If you look at Benzie County, it's online, so you can look through it. They have the whole document before they letting me talk about the points that I kind of honed it down to. So 9 o'clock Tuesday, it's going to be.
There's Jim. Okay.
Please.
Is that okay? Yes.
Repeat the question.
Thank you. The question was, has Benzie County applied for opioid funds? Yes. And we have received some.
We do have time for a few more questions, either here or in Zoom. For Karen? There's one back there, I think, right?
Karen, I'm reading the minutes.
Wait a minute.
Wait. No one can hear you. Okay. And reading the minutes.
Up close to your mouth, please. Yeah.
And reading the minutes about the internet and the funding, there were 3 or 4 different organizations, and it was $50,000 or $60,000 was given to one of them. How was that decision made? Who made that decision?
Those are great questions. I am asking for all the EDC minutes so I can be informed about what was done at the meetings.
And I couldn't figure that out, how and who that decision was made. There was a couple different ones came in there and,
Correct.
what's her name? Di
Yeah.
had made the decision and directed, and then the money went that direction, and I couldn't understand how or why.
Right. And so I'm asking for all those minutes to get informed on that, because I am a bit in the dark on that also. That was a year and a half ago or so that they were doing that, and I was running numbers and working for Chris at that point in time.
Great. Great. Thank you, Karen.
Question on that.
Oh, there's a question? Okay, great. Go ahead.
Jane?
Oh, Jane.
Want to unmute?
Hello, Commissioner Cunningham.
Hello, Madam Jane.
My question is, I don't know if it's too soon to be asking this, but is there a way to get, I don't know, is there a list or something of the ways that ARPA funds are going to be used and are being used in Benzie County?
Yes, Katie has that, Katie Zeitz.
Okay, so can I
And
just contact her?
Yes, and it's also in, if we had action items and, on the previous Board of Commissioner meetings, a lot of those action items were for ARPA funds, so it has the amount, but that would take going through and reading. I'm hoping Katie has a compiled list of that.
Okay, I will reach out to her. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Okay, thanks, Jane.
Thank you for representing us. You're doing a great job.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
I was just curious, what is the Headley Amendment issue here? I haven't heard about that.
That's complicated. I'll just say briefly, it's taxes. It's
Well, yeah.
allowing
I
a
know what
higher
Headley is,
tax rate.
but why, are they changing it or
So
something?
because we're stuck at a very low, we're stuck at a very low rate, we need to do what's called a reset to allow a higher rate. That's what needs to be
Okay.
done. It's starving the government. Yeah. Was
last question was Mary Roebling.
Mary? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a real quick question. Karen, we have a very serious drug and alcohol problem in our county. And I'm happy that we're beginning to get the opiate money, but it stands to reason that some of it needs to be spent on prevention. And a very, 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 very tiny amount is spent on prevention right now. The people that are working on that literally have been, are limited by the amount of money that they get. So I would hope and I would really be proud of our commissioners if they would put their money where the problem is.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. What we have on the last meeting, we did approve $20,000 that Dr. Custer, I believe is her name, presented to us, and she shared about the not so much the prevention, but the gap of helping getting them through the system and then supporting them until they have the drugs to kind of wean them off. So the commission did offer more money than what they asked for in that. And yes, education and prevention goes hand in hand with this. So starting at the schools, and I believe it was Benzie Central was doing public service announcements for addictive type things, whether it be what do they call it? Whether it be the opioids or the non-cigarettes, that they're the vaping on that. So it is being addressed, Mary, but you are correct. It's a full spectrum of things.
We got time for one quick question from Alan.
Okay, the Headley Amendment, I understand, is going to be showing up in our tax assessments. Is that correct? Yeah, so that's the reason most of us are going to, I'm not against doing something about it. I'm just going to say that we're going to end up seeing it on our taxes, and then it'll become more understandable as to what we've got going.
Yeah, good point, and I thank you for that. And educating the public, we've got to roll that out, but we'll see what they say Tuesday. I mean, I hope some of you are there to do some public, input on that.
That's it, yeah. That's Karen Cunningham. She's County Commissioner for District 3, our own Democrat on the county commission, keeping everybody honest there. It's great to have her here. Thank you very much. Karen is the hardest working gal in show business, I'll tell you. She's at every meeting, and she's just got it covered. She's just great. Okay, is Barry Hahn on Zoom?
Yes,
Great. Barry, you're going to tell us a little bit about the pop-up dates you're working on.
a little bit. I put it in the chat. You'll see a big blue paragraph there, partway up the chat. Pop-ups, first one on a Monday evening in Thompsonville, Monday, the 19th of June. And then after that, either the 6th or the 13th of July in Alberta, across from the farmer's market. We had the option to go with either one, so I thought we'd play the rain. But it looks nice on the 6th, we'll do the 6th. Saturday, the 5th of August in Beulah for the street sale. That's from 10 to 4. By the way, the Alberta's in the morning, 9 to 12. Another Saturday in Beulah in the fall for Fall Fest, October 7th, 10 to 5. And we're waiting for information back from Lake Ann for a date to get into the park there in downtown LA. I think that's going to be enough for this year. We'll be calling for volunteers. The first one, of course, that we should get excited about is Monday evening, Juneteenth in T-ville. And any part of 6 to 9 that you could do, or even a little earlier to help set up, although I'm going to be there for that. I think Lindsay will be there for that. Questions, you can always text me or email me or throw something at me right now. I might know the answer. That's it.
Hey, Barry, I have a question.
Okay.
Could you just do like 2 sentences on a description of what we do at a pop-up? I think there are folks who don't know what it is.
Oh, it's our way to make ourselves visible in the community, basically educate people as to what the Benzie Dems are doing, what we stand for, how to get involved. Jane Wild could do much better with these sentences than me. What do you think? Jane?
Hi, Barry. You're
Hi,
doing a
Jane.
great
Thank
job.
you.
Yeah, basically show that we're here, we exist. There's a lot of people that don't know we're here, and just help educate people. Like if there's, voter registration, or I'm not sure exactly what the goals will be different, right, as they were during campaign time. But be a voice, just talk to people. We don't eat babies. We don't, we're not scary. We're good, kind people, and we all share lots of values. So hello, neighbors.
Right. Last year, you handed out a lot of signs with people's names, people that were running for office. That won't happen this summer very much, if at all. But we are going to have some messaging on pens and pencils and notepads and possibly some other things to hand out. But just be there to answer questions and educate people that there are Democrats here, and we're getting bigger and stronger every year.
And thanks to Sam Getzinger, who she's Zooming with us from Greece. She's the one that, we're learning from, and she's amazing. So thanks.
Right.
Great. Well, thank you, Jane, and thank you, Barry. We'll probably have membership forms available for people who might want to join. We'll have voter registration forms for people who want to sign up. We'll have volunteer forms if you want to volunteer for the party. Lots of ways to get connected. We'll probably be giving out pens and pads and other stuff, and just having some fun and meeting folks. So hope to see you there. Great.
Thanks, Jim. Yep.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, now we're going to have a guest drop in here. Many of us know who Dr. Bob Lawrencer is. He ran for the 1st congressional seat in Michigan last fall. staged a really great campaign with huge policy points and lots of very strong positive messaging, covered this gigantic area known as the 1st Congressional District. A total hero for doing it, and he's going to do it again. So let's welcome Dr. Bob. And Bob, what you got for us?
Yeah, today, folks, thank you very much. Today, I'm not talking about my campaign, but I'm going to try to help answer a question. And here's the question. Wondering what strategies would work to change the minds, hearts, and souls of voters in all those red precincts. You know, that's the 1st district. So let me share some stuff, but you probably all know this, so I hope I don't bore you too much. So how to discuss with Republicans. Listen to them, don't attack. Share with them that we have the same goals. Show them that Democrats are fiscally prudent. But, you know, at the same time, watch your words. Saying free healthcare. No, nothing's free, so I wouldn't use that. Maybe using words like hardworking people deserve better would be a good line. We need to promote and advance families and workers, and your banner that's right behind Jim's is the great one for that one. Share their positive values, share them. Agree with them more than you disagree. That might sound different, but agree with them more than you disagree, at least initially. Say that, you know, Democrats will not destroy what is good. And, you know, we hear it all the time, individual liberty, economics, constitutionalism, but say that we will add to those values with a better quality of life. Share with them where their current leaders could be doing better. Share local stories, tell personal stories, and make it real. And try to not only just reach their minds, but reach their hearts and souls. So when telling a story, I think you should start with getting them to listen, and start with an agreement. The story should be short. Do some comparison without bashing. Listen, then discuss more. And if you end it with smiles, laughter, or at least less hostility, you won. So let me give you one example. So we're going to play like a Republican that says, "Oh, you know, Democrats don't support businesses." Then the Democrat responds, "Oh, yes, we do." Republican, "No, you don't." "Well, you're wrong." You know, the Democrat says. Then finally the Republican, "Stop. All you Dems are the same." Maybe we could change this, because, you know, this is where you start the discussion, is to get agreement. If you get them to pause, you are winning. So when they end up saying Democrats don't support businesses, then you say, well, please tell me more. Well, they're requiring me to pay health benefits for my small company, and I can't do that. Well, I agree with you, right? I agree with you. What are they going to say to that one? They're basically going to pause. It gives you an opening to say something. Yep, let's work together to find, you know, a better way. Let's work together where you could pay those wages, you can afford health benefits, and then the worker will do better. So let me give you some other examples. And again, I don't want to do it in my campaign, but some stuff I'll end up doing will be toot your own horn and then add Dems. So for myself running for Congress, I'll end up saying, like, toot your own horn. Why do we need a doctor in the House? Well, because 30% of our national spending is related to medical care. And because as a Democrat, I support the most critical factors affecting your health and your well-being, including a livable wage, affordable housing, safe living in safe neighborhoods, health insurance, medical care, and quality education. So, you know, one way is to toot your own horn and then add Dems in. The second way is show them that we have the same goals and compare. So here's one. Start off like this. Every president, Republican or Democrat, from Ronald Reagan to Joe Biden, has supported equipping the IRS to curb cheaters by millionaires. So why not now? See how we did it? Shared goals. We added the Republican, we added Ronald Reagan, we added Joe Biden. We all have the shared goals. Then you could compare. Representative Jack Bergman voted to increase the deficit by $1 billion over a decade by allowing cheating to continue, even though there would be no increased audits on anybody earning less than $400,000 or less. So there are ways of doing this. Another way you could end up doing that is adding the Dems and your opponent. So one, I would say Dems, here's what I would probably, in some of my blogs, Dems support education, livable wages, sustainable clean energy development. Dems understand that infrastructure development is vital to our economic well-being and jobs in our family. Then you compare. While Bergman is demanding more deregulation for dirty industries and to make Trump's tax cuts for billionaires permanent, robbing us of vital tax revenue to provide for our general welfare. He wants to eliminate the Department of Education, which would do us harm. And the last example, I would say, give good news, quit with the bad news. So I just recently, I don't know if it's posted yet, why are we so gloomy? So then I wrote down the unemployment rate is 3.4%, the lowest level since the 1960s. Worker participation is up to pre-pandemic levels. We have gained 6 million jobs. Workers have never been more content in their job. The inflation rate over the past 6 months is 3.3%. The price of gasoline has decreased to $1.50 a gallon. So why are we so downtrodden when we should be feeling much better? Unfortunately, media and the politics. Then I did add in a little bit of a bash. Republicans want to tell how bad the Democrats are doing, but it isn't true. So I would say that we need to tell our story clearly, simply, and in their words that they could understand and they hear, that we support workers and business promotion that makes living here possible. We promote family and friends and neighbors, which makes living here worthwhile, worth staying here. And those are the issues of education, art and entertainment, schools, Social Security, Medicare, and much more. And that infrastructure makes both of the above goals possible. That's your healthcare, your broadband, your transportation, and much more. We need to tell people that we're running for them, their children, their grandchildren, their friends, and their coworkers, for the hardworking families of America. We're here to solve problems and address our nation's goals. And I'll end up with a kind of, I call my circle of success. And people have heard this probably before, but try to follow me here. Businesses and jobs will come if we provide them with skilled workers, and skilled workers will come from strong families. Strong families are created by believing in compassion, honesty, integrity, and trust in individual freedoms. Young people are embedded with civic virtues in good schools where educators prepare students to be better citizens, neighbors, and productive workers. And we will retain these quality educators if affordable housing, medical care, and childcare are locally available. And medical providers will come if there's good schools. And the youth will stay if there are job opportunities. And our family friends will thrive when they know their elders, youth, and colleagues have the services they need. So those are some of the stuff that I would try to end up saying, that's how we should address our opponents. First, engage them, agree with them, and show them what we have to offer is much more. So I hope that's helpful. I'll be back in August to talk about my campaign, and that's probably enough. So thank you very much. I appreciate the small amount of time.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for all of your hard work. I think we're going to move right along here and bring in our next guest. And to do that, we have our wonderful vice chair and membership chair to do that. She's had a lot to do with getting Chloe here for this event today. So take it away, Kira Duvernoy.
Hi, everybody. I suppose they can't see my book, can they?
Oh.
Okay, well, we'll do it that way. So I'm here to introduce Chloe Maxmin, who is our next speaker. She's the author of this book, Dirt Road Revival, and How to Rebuild Rural Politics and Why Our Future Depends on It. And amen to that, our future does depend on it. And I also want to thank Wiley Schaffer for alerting me to this book. Thank you, Wiley. She and her husband are very active and long-term members. So this book comes out of Chloe's experience of running in a very rural red district in Maine, her home state, first for state representative and then after that for state senator. She flipped both seats, and she's got a lot to say in this book about running in very rural red districts. So she and her campaign manager, Canyon Woodward, were both authored this book, and they have very personal strategies that they used, and that's what we're going to learn about. So we know that rural America has fled the Democratic Party in the last few decades, and we have to reverse that trend. So if we think about this, Bill Clinton in 1996 won 1,100 rural counties. Obama in 2008 won fewer than half of those counties, that number of counties, and Joe Biden in 2020 won only 194 rural counties. So that's a huge drop, and we can't let that stand. So with that in mind, let's have Chloe speak with us.
Go ahead, Chloe. Thank you. Thank you, Kira.
Good morning. Hi, can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great. I can't get my eyes back. So I get the load on my computer, so I'm on my phone, so I can't really see any face, but you can hear me. Please just interrupt me if my Wi-Fi breaks out on you. But good morning. It's so wonderful to be here with all of you today. I've heard so many incredible things about so I'm just so excited to be in touch with all of you and get a glimpse into the amazing work that y'all are doing. My name is Chloe. I'm from Maine. I grew up on my family's farm here in a rural part of the coast. And I know that there's so much different between Maine and Michigan and really every other state. Every community is so unique. And so, I really appreciate that and honor that and recognize that the ways that we campaign and talk to our neighbors are going to be really different in every community. And at the same time, based on experience talking with folks around the country and, hearing about how, I think there's also some really deep similarities about how we feel left behind and how, it just kind of is a different way of talking and interacting with the community that helps us get some traction down those dirt roads. So I was just going to speak a little bit about kind of my journey and then would love to hear how it lands with you. Also out farming this morning and my hair was up pat and I just took it out and it's like going a million different directions. So oopsies. But anyways, so I grew up on my family's farm and growing up in my community, like genuinely, when I look back at my childhood, I have so few memories of politics being really up front and center in the way that I grew up. It was always about, are you a good neighbor? Do you show up when someone is in need? Are you kind? Do you do the little weird wave when someone drives down the road off your steering wheel? And my political memories are very, very poignant. Like the first time I remember interacting with politics is watching Bill Clinton getting impeached on the news hour with Jim Lehrer, like in the kitchen while my parents were making dinner. And it wasn't really until I got to college that I was really in a politicized environment. I went to Harvard. I was very, very liberal bastion, and genuinely there for the first time. Republicans and Democrats and the feelings that both have between each other. And that just made me miss my hometown so much, and that sense of connecting on something deeper than politics. When I was at Harvard, I started involved in social and organizing, mostly around climate change and fossil fuel investment. But I found so much power in that. Like growing up in a rural town, I had never been exposed to any of that stuff. I'd never gone to a protest. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me okay?
Chloe, you're breaking up quite a bit. I know you're on your phone. I'm wondering if there's a way you can turn the video off on your phone. That would help.
I'm trying my computer again. So sorry.
Perhaps, there you go. Good. That should
Okay,
help.
how's it?
Go ahead, say
Is this
something.
a little bit?
Not really.
Really? Oh my God, guys, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm trying more thing. Maybe just because it's cloudy outside today.
Maybe if you were outside or something, I don't know. I mean, the problem is the phone connection. That's what it is.
Go outside.
We're having our own little rural issue here, folks.
Puppets,
Right.
Sing us a song,
You don't want that, yeah. I don't want you to break into, I'm spending Hanukkah in Santa Monica. I'm saying comfort and joy.
There, she's trying to get back in. Yeah. Here.
Right.
Yeah, I got her back in.
Okay, how's this?
Might be better.
Okay. Yay.
Yes.
Let me just sit down. I got my dog with me now, so that's a little nicer.
Can we get her video up on the screen?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, tell me when to resume. I'm so sorry, you guys.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So anyways, I was just talking about how much I loved my rural hometown and how we really connected around a sense of values and not around politics. And when I went to school at Harvard in Boston, I was just in like this very liberal space that was very confusing because I missed my hometown so much and our rural way of life. But I was also exposed to like social movements and movement building and all of this progressive power that I found so inspiring and exciting. And so then after college, I moved back home literally the day I graduated, and I haven't left Maine since. I did a bunch of different political work in Maine. I worked on a whole bunch of different campaigns. And then, like so many of us in 2016, I realized how far right the rural vote had really gone. And I realized that my hometown House district and my hometown Senate district were part of this trend. Both of them voted for Trump in 2016. And so in 2018, I was like, I'm going to run for office in my House district where I grew up. It had a +16 Republican advantage. It's very rural. Most of the district is in Lincoln County, which is the oldest county in Maine, and Maine is the oldest state in the country by age. And Lincoln County is also 100% rural. So I recruited Canyon, who became my best friend in college. He moved up to Noblesboro, and together we just started campaigning. And we had a pretty specific vision of trying to combine progressive social movements with like on the ground electoral politics. We had both worked on campaigns before, and we knew what we liked and what we didn't like. So really our intent was to create a campaign that might resonate in this rural conservative area. And lo and behold, it worked. We were completely and totally shocked. We didn't think we were going to win. So then I served 2 years in the House of Representatives. And then after that, I had the opportunity to run for state Senate, which was super exciting because my passion lies with grassroots organizing, and the Senate districts are so much bigger than the House districts. So it felt like a really exciting opportunity to scale up. And so we ran in 2020 against the Senate minority leader who was going into his third term, had never lost a general election. And in retrospect, one of the big papers in Maine gave us 42-1 odds of winning. So we choose long shot races, but we won that too, with really the same approach of just going around and talking to people and really committing to movement building. You know, it wasn't just about getting me elected. It wasn't just about one cycle. Everything that we did was really geared towards redefining and reimagining what politics can look like on the ground. And you know, for me personally, it was just such a, I mean, there's so many incredible parts about the whole experience of serving in office and running campaigns. But, you know, for me, I'm a Democrat, ran as a Democrat. I was proudly a Democrat. I also don't identify with a lot of what the National Democratic Party is doing. But I definitely, you know, had my prejudices as I was going and talking with conservative folks about really challenging issues. And I realized just how deep those were in me. And I found so much space inside myself to connect with folks and form really meaningful connections, have really authentic conversations. And for us, when we started in both of our campaigns, neither Canyon nor I had ever heard of deep canvassing. We weren't plugged into that world, or that world. We just, I don't know, we hadn't been exposed to it. And so, you know, when we were doing our door knocking and our volunteer training, our methodology was really just like we would kind of stumbled upon it because we were like, okay, if you meet somebody and you don't have much in common with them and you're kind of already a little bit adversarial because you're from different parties, like step one is just forming a relationship like a normal human being. And then if you can build some sense of trust and respect, then you can dig into the tough issues around abortion and gun rights and property taxes. So it just felt really natural and human to us. And that's how we ended up running our campaigns. And then we were like, oh, there's a whole methodology around this. It's studied and tested and true. And like, and how cool is that? So, so just being able to connect with people like that was so huge, and really is the only hope that I see for our democracy in terms of being able to heal these huge divides that have erupted across rural America, and try and elect folks who are really fighting for unity, fighting for social justice, and are going to work on policy that really advances a just and equitable society. So, so I'm going to stop there. I feel like we lost some time because of my awful technology issues, which I'm just deeply guilty about. So I don't know. I would love to hear like how it resonates with you, what y'all's experience has been, if there's any thoughts or questions, all that stuff.
Well, thank you, Chloe. I believe Chris Kitzman, our data queen, has a question for you.
Data queen, yay. Hi, Chloe. I've been reading your book and truly enjoying it. Because we're a county party, of course, we're supporting multiple candidates, and our question is always where to put our efforts most. And two things in your book struck me, and I'd love it if you'd elaborate a little bit more. I go to the details right away, you know, data, but the two parts, and one is you say, and I'm quoting, we believe that the bulk of your resources should be directed to winning the support of the persuadables. And the second section was your targeting should have a clear order of priority and options depending on the size of your grassroots volunteer base that you're able to build. We struggle with that all the time. And there are those among us who think we just should give up any targeted universe of voters and go door to door, and others that know we simply can't do that. So I would love to hear how you approach that, who and how you actually did choose when you started doing your deep canvassing.
Yes, such a good question. I love delving into this kind of detail. So I should first of all say super clearly that we could not have won without our county Democratic Committee, the Lincoln County Democrats. They're incredible. They're super well organized. They do a ton of canvassing, and they really helped us focus on our Democratic turnout. Because like in all these tricky districts, these rural districts, you can't win unless all the Democrats go out and vote. So I feel like that's such a key role for county committees is Democratic turnout, and that frees up the campaign to really focus on that group of persuadables. So I think that's like the simplest bifurcation. Within that, you know, I do a lot of work with my county party here and across the country, and a lot of county folks are going and doing more deep canvassing stuff. And I think it's really tricky to just for your first deep canvassing to just go off and talk to a hardcore Republican. That can be a little intimidating. And so I think another key role that our county party also did, and that we've seen across the country, is focusing on Democratic drop off. So low turnout Dems, if they go to the polls, they're gonna vote Democrat, but they just might need a little extra support, a ride, a phone call, a reminder to actually get to the polls. And that can be a really good start for deep canvassing, because it's just like a little bit of an easier conversation. And then there's kind of those progressive independents who they're not registered as Democrats, but they could probably use a touch from someone associated with the Democratic campaigns. And so so that was another great place for the Democratic county committees to really kind of step in and help the campaigns. And then for us within our campaign, as our county committee was helping us with our Democratic turnout, we did have that much gradation. So for me, the candidate, I had the hardest doors, lucky me, and we didn't usually send volunteers to doors that were as hard as mine. It just didn't seem super fair. I mean, if someone wanted to, then of course they could. But for the most part, it was people's first time canvassing, and their first time canvassing like in a rural space, or their first time canvassing non-Democrats. So we would mostly have our volunteers go talk to like progressive independents and people who I had already talked to who might have been Republican, but they said they were going to vote for me. So they had like a little bit of an easier time. And during COVID, we did have volunteers go to some of my challenging doors, but those were purely follow-up, get out the vote canvases. So we really did try and break it down so that whoever wanted to come canvass, they had like a way to do it that felt acceptable and like not super scary. That was a long answer to your question.
We have a question in the chat, Chloe. Barry Hahn thanks you. He and his wife are getting your book on Kindle, and they're going to visit Maine in the summer. But his question is, how big of an obstacle is Fox News, as it bombards our rural people with, he's got a word for like horse manure, on their TVs every day, and how can we offset the Fox poison?
Oof. Yeah, gosh. I mean, I have no idea. It's so pervasive. I was like,
honest answer. Thank you.
so strange. Like you go and knock on doors and you hear Fox News going on inside. I remember one day I was canvassing and everyone kept talking to me about what's happening in Seattle. And I was like, I don't know what's happening in Seattle. And I looked up on all my normal news sites and there was nothing about Seattle. And then I went on Fox News. It was like front page. It was when the police were barricading in protesters in Seattle. And I always thought that was wild because it didn't cross my radar at all. It was only on Fox News. But I think for me, like my approach is I can't compete with Fox News. I don't know if really anything can, but what I can do is form a relationship outside of Fox News that like is based on something real with eye contact and a handshake. And that I can't limit the influence of Fox News, but I can develop another way to communicate with folks that can have a huge impact, so that Fox News watching person may vote for a Democrat. And, and if we kind of if we scale up that idea, I feel like perhaps that's what could stop Fox News.
Great, thank you. We've got another question here in the room from Kira.
Hi, Chloe. Thank you so much for being here. We are struggling with a little bit of concern from people for going door to door in this world where sometimes people get shot when they don't intend to. And so we feel like there's probably no substitute for door to door canvassing. So I'd like your take on that. And also, second part of the question. When you do go to a door of somebody who you know is not necessarily in your camp, not a Democrat, how do you start the conversation? That's all.
Both great questions. And I know, Akira, I'm sorry, you told me to forgot about safety and canvassing, and I didn't. So my bad. But safety and canvassing, I think those fears are so valid. They're so real. It's a super scary world. And I knocked on about 20,000 doors. I haven't knocked a door since 2020 because it's a lot, it's a lot. It's very scary. At the same time, it's so important and can be really hopeful and regenerative. So I think for us, when we had volunteers go out and what we've done since then with other groups, there are a few things. One, people always going in pairs, always going to places with cell phone reception if it can be done, like maybe in someone's hometown. We would often have people canvass in their hometown so that they would like know their neighbors and not kind of feel so dislocated. And we would always have people return at the same time, even if they hadn't finished their turf. And so you just kind of knew where everyone was. And then it gave people a chance when they came back to kind of debrief and kind of get any bad interactions out on the table and also absorb people's good interactions. I think, again, like having volunteers for the first time or all the time going to safer doors, like just like maybe not hardcore doors at the beginning can also help. I think too, like talking about identity in canvassing is huge. Like I work with so many like queer folks and folks of color who just don't want to go canvassing, and I completely understand that, and I acknowledge that like a lot of the reason why I can just like walk up to random doors in the woods is because I'm white. And so I think that has to be a big part of the conversation as well, and just making sure we have space in our campaigns, in our organizing, for people to just do whatever they feel comfortable doing. And then there's like the other side of the coin for me too, which is that there's so many times when I was scared to knock on a door and I knocked and I realized that fear was prejudice, and that I like ended up having this amazing conversation with somebody, but that what gave me fear was like the way that their house looked, or something I saw in the driveway, or something like that. And so I think it's just a very personal assessment of what you feel comfortable with. And I feel like I have a really high tolerance, and not everyone should follow my lead. And then in terms of how we opened conversations, it was genuinely just like, hey, I'm Chloe, I'm running for blah, blah. What's on your mind? And that's exactly what our volunteers would say as well.
Thanks, Chloe. We've got another question from the chat. And I think I'm getting Cindy's question correctly. She's interested in knowing what are some of the topics or the issues that you constantly discuss when you're addressing members of the public, in community meetings, in person, if you had like maybe top 3 issues that you use. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, the issues that I talk about, I finished my time in office in December. So, it's been part of my life for a while, but I always talk about what is my community, because I'm a representative of my community. And literally the number one thing that I hear from people is that they just don't feel represented. They vote for people and they feel like their interests aren't well served, and their challenges in life only get worse. And, and so for me, it's all about representation, like really truly representing people. And I think, yeah, so that's the big one. I think, I think every issue under the sun feels so urgent these days. And I feel like it's hard to pick one. In my time serving my community, I focused a lot on environmental issues from a rural perspective, focused a lot on substance use and democracy access. And those were all things that came directly from conversations that I had at the doors with non-Democrats. And it was a privilege to be able to work on those issues.
Okay, I've got another question here. Is there somebody in the audience? Okay. Tom?
Yeah, I was wondering if you had like a possible, if you had a list of topics that would be in common for people to talk about when you met with people, if they were not Democrats even, that the common ground that we could bring up to begin with that would help open the door to more conversation. And, we had Dr. Bob on here earlier, and he was talking about that too, that we need to find common ground with people first off before we can start to persuade them in any way to vote differently. So did you guys have like a script you put together or a list of ideas of if this comes up, maybe that tries saying this, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we didn't. I've been working with some other folks who are putting those types of lists together, which I think is awesome. I think for me, it was really just about, it sounds like so cheesy and dumb, but just about active listening, so when you start off like what's on your mind, and most of the time people don't just like jump right into the most difficult thing. They're talking about like their kids or their work or their life. And I can almost, I don't know, it's just like if you're forming a new relationship with someone, you don't look for the thing you have different and then focus on that. Like it's just like instinctual to try and find what you have in common. So, and I didn't find it that difficult when I just kind of looked at it from that perspective. So like on healthcare, education, or property taxes, or like, I don't know, money in politics, or like so many of the common issues, I felt like it was really easy to find common ground with people. There are some issues that I feel like I have a hard time finding common ground on. And sometimes I feel like there are harder lines. And, so I think the conversations right now around reproductive rights and race and trans rights are really important and vital and threatening people's safety. And so I feel like there's a harder line there for me. So I don't know, it's complicated, but I always found like I could almost always find one avenue in, even if it was just like, wow, we love Maine, what a great place we live, or like, yeah, I love breakfast at Moody's Diner, or whatever it may be.
That's great. Chloe, I'm wondering, this is, a so-called off year. Does it make sense to try and do any kind of deep canvassing now? And I was thinking, well, if I went up to the door as a deep canvasser, I wouldn't be saying I'm running for office, because I'm not. Would I say I'm a Democrat, a nosy Democrat who wants to know what's on your mind? Or is this just not a good time to be doing that? What do you think about that?
I think now is the best time to go deep canvassing before everyone gets completely inundated with politics and negative stuff and they get totally fed up. I've been helping a lot of folks going and canvassing this year, and they've been having just incredible results. I think the script has been pretty simple of just like, hey, this is who I am, this is the group that I'm from, and I'm just trying to I'm just kind of scared about our world right now, and I'd love to hear what's on your mind. And there's no ask. It's not, are you going to vote for someone? Are you going to volunteer? Will you be my friend? Maybe the only ask is like, can I come back and talk with you later this year or next year? And just starting to form that relationship in a space where it doesn't feel extractive and transactional.
We've got time, I think, for one more question before you need to jump off. Mike asks, could you comment on what you have found to be the biggest misperceptions held by rural voters that you were able to overcome?
I think, oh my God, that's a good question. Gosh, I think the big one is that, Democrat is the D word in a lot of rural spaces, and overcoming that is really challenging. And, so I felt really grateful for some of the conversations that I had with people, the opportunities to be like, I'm not a bad Democrat, I'm a good Democrat. Like, I love fight for us. These are the issues I care about. And and just being really really specific about why I'm a Democrat and why I'm not registered as an independent or something like that. So I don't know, that felt big. And just earning trust, like that there can be trust between folks who don't automatically have a lot in common. And I hope that, people feel like I represented them well and kind of further pulled away some of those partisan barriers that prevent us from having a normal world.
Okay, I'm just curious, one more quick thing here. You're not a senator anymore. You decided not to run again, and now you are apparently trying to spread your wonderful method to people across the country. Is that why you stopped being a senator, or what are you looking at with your life right now?
Yes, that is why I stopped. In Maine, like in so many states, we're a part-time citizen legislature, so it was just really difficult to work and serve and campaign, and there are just my heart really lies with grassroots organizing, and I just wanted to get a lot of people elected, not just myself. So I didn't run again to be able to organize full time. So Canyon and I have a nonprofit now called Dirt Road Organizing that's devoted solely to supporting people who want staff campaigns or run or are part of county committees and rural areas. And so that's what I do full time now. It feels super fulfilling. Don't see my name all over the place, and an amazing in my stead. And she's a Democrat, so it all worked out.
That's great. Our understanding is you need to leave now. Is that true?
It is true.
You got to go? Okay, that's all right. Listen, we're very, very happy to have you, and thank you for all the great work you've done. Thanks for Kira for setting this up. And let's give...
Awesome. Thank you all so much. I hope you have an amazing day. So nice to you. Please know if we can do anything to support your work. I'm so sorry again for my awful tech app.
Oh, you should have seen the one we had just before it started today. I'll tell you.
Okay, then. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, well, we've come to the end of our regular agenda. Is there anybody who needs to bring something up or ask another question that's not to Chloe, or give us some kind of community announcement you'd like people to know about? Colin, you got something for us? We got a microphone for you.
Yeah, last Monday or Tuesday, I think it was, I was at the Tavern Library, where there was a speaker on climate control. And one of the things that was brought up was the fact that many of the other states have introduced climate into the schools. They've introduced climate into, many of the states have introduced climate concerns into their school systems. And we were told that Michigan has yet to do that. And I think that climate concern is a really big thing that we need to give our children. They're the ones that are going to have to solve the problem that our stupidity or lack of education in the past allowed us to allow to happen. I remember myself when they buried the car on the first Earth Day, I thought, what a waste of a perfectly good car. And I went to work the next day in an auto factory building big V8 engines that were gas guzzlers. I had no clue. Other things have transpired in the past, and I think we need to have our education system include apprenticeships and rope access to wind machines that can further the green energy movement. I think we need to get this into our schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colin. Anybody else? Yes. Anybody else have a comment? Karen, did you want to say something? Okay.
I just want to piggyback on your idea there. The other thing is to have that in our local master plans for your city, your township, whatever. If we have them include the environmental, water, or variety of different things included in the master plan as guidance.
Jim, I'd like to make a comment on that. May I?
Go ahead, Marcia.
Yeah, thank you for saying something about that, Colin. I'd love to talk to you about it sometime. And Karen, I, 2 days ago, visited the new headquarters of the Grand Traverse Regional Land Conservancy, which we all benefit from. That is such an amazing place, and I hope that we can get a tour of that at some point. What they have done is built a sustainable set of buildings. They have hundreds of solar panels up. They have a goat barn. The goats are going to eat they have 8 goats. They're going to eat the autumn olive. and they have a wonderful greenhouse where they are propagating important plant species that are native to this area. And they will accept volunteers for working there for an hour or half an hour even. So you can sign up for Grand Traverse Regional Land Conservancy.org. It really is an example in our area for how to build a building that is not going to increase bad climate and that will, demonstrate sustainability. And we really need to get that out there, and our zoning should require something of that sort, and our building, the way we build buildings. So I think we're way behind in that area. So that's my.
Thank you, Marcia. If you would put contact information for the organization in the chat, that would be very, very helpful. Stuart has a quick question here.
Hi, Jim. Can I sit next to you?
Yes, you can.
Hi, my name's Stuart McFerrin, and I know a lot of you are aware of the gun violence epidemic that's occurring throughout the nation at the moment. I just wanted to tell everybody about a program down in Ludington. They're having a gun buyback, and so they raised money. A group of people in Ludington raised money for gift cards. And so if you have an AK-47, you can turn it into the police department, Ludington Police Department, for a $300 gift card. And that's a program that will be ongoing. And then also there's a program in Traverse City called Safer Kids, Safer Schools. So those are 2 different programs that are targeting, trying to do something about gun violence, focusing on gun violence. Thank you. Let's not use the word target. True. Thank you, Michael. So the program in Ludington is called Starfish, the Starfish Gun Buyback Program. So you can Google that, and also you can. There's an article about it in the Freshwater Reporter.
Great. Thank you, Stuart. Stuart was our candidate for the county commission in the 2nd district. Do I have that right? Yeah.
Good. Hi, this is Chris Kitzman, and it's just a quick follow-up to both Karen, oh, you're still here, yay, and Marcia's comment. I absolutely agree that we need to get that kind of information in the master plan. I know that at the township level in Benzie County, everybody does their own thing. Now, some of them are coordinated, but master plans seem to be fairly township specific. It's been a long time since we have had a county level zoning administrator or county level planning commission. And I truly believe that we need to look at that on an overarching kind of a well beyond monitoring, but coordinative effort. And I, for one, and I may speak for a lot of Benzie Dems, would say that we would support you, Karen, in trying to make that happen at a county level again.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions on that, Marcia? Okay. Mary, what you got?
Did you call me?
Yes, I'm sorry you were hidden behind this other little flag thing.
Take her hand down, Mary.
Oh, okay, thanks. Thanks, Tom. There, is that better? Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on Chloe's wonderful information about deep canvassing. Dan Scripps used a lot of these techniques when he ran. What we found is the Republicans have been doing this intuitively up here for a long time. Some of the other things that work in addition to canvassing, and there's no replacement for door to door, but having tea parties, small gatherings at your house of neighbors where you can just sit around and find out what's going on in their crazy world. Meetings in barns where the farmers are getting together. You should be there. We should be there. We have not been in the barns. Another thing is going to 4-H meetings. It sounds dumb, but if you're trying to build relationships, you want to build on common interests and common values. And so those are 3 other things that you can be doing that can really, really, really help and make a big difference.
Thank you, Mary. Mike, did you have a question?
Yeah, just real quick, I just now got internet access out where we're at. And so I want to get on the website, and I'm wondering, is there a full year calendar of all the events on like the website, so I can.
Somebody got something on? Okay, good, they got it.
Yeah, I'm looking for like a calendar of events so I can plan out ahead. You know, I can. So on like for the pop-ups,
Yes.
those dates and some of the other stuff. Is that stuff like
Yes,
on a calendar of events that I can find, and then I can put it down and I can plan ahead?
Yeah. In fact, we've just added a very nice calendar to our website. If you go to benziedemocrats.com, it lists all of these meetings, all of our executive council meetings, some of the county meetings that are going on, special events that we're doing. If we'd had it up in time, we would have had your picnic on there. So yeah, we do have a
So it's like at
that.
the beginning of the year, you start putting your planning of
Yep.
events, and you put that
Yep.
out, and it'll be available.
That's right.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you very much.
Sure. Okay, anything on the chat there, Mary? Or, you're not Mary, you're Jana.
Jana.
I'm confused. Okay, well, great. I think we'll call it then. Thank you all for being here. Please save the chat. If you're online, save the chat. Don't forget to do that. And thank you all for coming. We'll be back in a month. And I believe our guest will be Callie Barr, who is running for 1st District of Congress. And there's a primary going on there. So she'll be here in a month.